Morning. Looks like most people have come in the room. It is 10:01. We're ready to start our Tradewind Solutions Marketplace webinar, and Fiona Litwak will kick us off.
Morning, everyone. Hello, I'm Fiona Litbach. I am the Communications Director for the Tradewind Solutions Marketplace and all of Tradewind proper. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, as always, to Marka and our friends over at HARC for helping us put these events on for you. We do these throughout the month, every month, to make sure that we're getting the word out about the marketplace and make sure that we're doing our due diligence in educating you all about the marketplace and all the great things it could offer you. I know we have a lot of industry and solutions providers on our call today. I think we have a handful of government as well, which is great. So we'll be speaking to mostly concerns from the industry standpoint, but we'll also be addressing some of the things that we know that the government people want to hear as well. So I have with us today Gene Del Coco, who is our acquisition SME / guru. He's been in the game a long time and he has a lot of good information to impart to all of you. And a couple of things before we start. I think most of you are connected with us on social media. If not, please do so. We put out a lot of good information on LinkedIn, Facebook. You'll also find us on Instagram. The other thing I want to say is just a quick note right out of the gate. The Tradewind Solutions Marketplace is really making a lot of headway right now. We're creating kind of a buzz about what we're doing because it is so different and so out of the box from a government standpoint. But one thing I do want to make sure you all understand is that the Tradewind Solutions Marketplace is just one tool in a suite of tools and services that Tradewind proper offers. And as we continue on, we're going to make sure that we get the word out about the entire Tradewind suite of tools and services and contracting vehicles. The Solutions Marketplace is but one of those vehicles, but we have other tools and services that we want to make sure we're educating you about. So stand by for that. We'll be doing more events about all of Tradewind here in the coming weeks. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Gene.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Gene Del Coco, and I'm here to talk to you about the Solutions Marketplace and to answer any questions you might have about what the Solution Marketplace is and what it can do for you. Fiona has a slide up about what the definition of the marketplace is. And it's basically a central repository for AI, ML, and digital and data analytics solutions. But those solutions can vary from those stated here to other unique and novel solutions that might be of interest to the federal government, and especially for the DoD. The purpose here is to give an easy on-ramp to vendors to come in and showcase their technologies to the federal government. We tried to develop a process that makes that a very easy lift for you as a vendor or as a submitter to the marketplace to bring your technologies to the federal marketplace and get at least attention by those federal agencies to potentially purchase your solutions. The unique piece of the solutions marketplace, unlike a traditional solicitation, is that you are not being assessed against other people's submission. Your submission stands alone, and your submission is assessed against a rubric which is in the announcement for the Tradewind Solution Marketplace. Now, that announcement is on sam.gov. It's on the marketplace. You can download that, and I would suggest strongly that you download that, read it, and follow the instructions that are in the announcement explicitly. If you do so, then your probability of success in the marketplace goes way up. The other unique aspect of the marketplace is that what we're doing, again, unlike a traditional solicitation, is that instead of asking you for a proposal, we're asking you for simply a 5-minute video, which you will produce, and you can produce in any way that you would like to, Using a cell phone is fine. We're not looking for production level videos. We're looking for something that we could listen to, understand, and then evaluate against the rubric which is contained in the announcement that is posted. Once it's evaluated, and the evaluation will be done by a panel of judges that are composed of SMEs from academia, from industry, and from government, who will evaluate your submission against the rubric, as I said, that's contained in Appendix B of that announcement. And if after that evaluation, your video is considered scores high and scores against that rubric as awardable, then you have gone through all of the competitive requirements for an award under the Tradewind Marketplace. The marketplace has been developed so that it meets all of the requirements of the FAR, of the DFARs, and of the statutes, policies, and guidances of other transaction authorities. So, in other words, if once you're evaluated, and you're evaluated competitively against the rubric, not against each other, but against the rubric, you will now be eligible for an award by any government activity that has acquisition authority to make an award on your presentation or on your video presentation. We are emphasizing this is open to, it's the process that we use is that we do a collection each month. So every 30-day period from the first to the end of the month, we will be collecting videos. And then within about the first 10 days of the following month, the panel is convened, and we will do an evaluation of those that are received in the previous month. So submitting, in any given month, will have an answer for you, complete with feedback, as to whether your submission was awardable or not awardable, and you will get the rationale why it was considered in each of those categories. Our emphasis here, although we're collecting videos from anyone who wants to submit a video, and that's either a large traditional company, non-traditional company, or an individual researcher who decides that they want to put something in. These come in from either industry or academia. And in fact, government is permitted to submit, new technologies to the marketplace also. So, like I said, we're trying to make the process simple enough so that, even any small company, and we realize and we understand that, many small companies just don't have the bandwidth or the budget, to do large marketing campaigns. We want to make sure that we produce a process that is a low lift to you, so that you can get something in, and then we will take it from there, and we will try to socialize that with as many government agencies as possible to view your video and to assess your technology for their needs. Why don't you go on to the next one, Brianna?
Yeah, so yes, before we do though, I just wanted to mention that we do have a Q&A box. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in there. We just got a question about providing a link to the SAM.gov announcement. So the link to the SAM.gov announcement is actually on our website, tradewindai.com, under the Solutions Marketplace section. And later on in today's event, we're going to be navigating there. So I'll show you exactly where it is. You'll be able to visually see exactly where to find that announcement. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in there. We did have some questions come in from the registration. When people were registering, they asked a question. If a company is down selected well, okay, so I'm going to stop the question right there. In terms of the marketplace, we don't speak in terms of down selection, right, Jean? Because we're not down selecting. Once you are deemed awardable and get put into the marketplace, there are no more down selections. You're awardable. Do I have that right, Jean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The competition is you're competing yourself against the rubric. Okay. As I mentioned before, you're not competing against other vendors. And the important thing here is that if for whatever reason you are not deemed awardable in your submission, your first submission, that doesn't mean that you're now out of the competition. You can take your video, you can look at your feedback, you can see where you fell short of the rubric, and then you could correct your video and resubmit in subsequent sections as subsequent collections. It's important that our goal is to get all videos that are submitted in the awardable category. And we will work with you in whatever way we can to ensure that you can get your video to a level that is going to meet the video. Now, meet the requirements. Now, with that said, you have a great opportunity here because, if I talk about a process, you have a technology. You're going to put together a 5-minute video, which explains what it is that you're doing. There are 4 points that you should consider as you prepare your video. The first thing is it's important to establish what the problem is that you're trying to solve so that the government evaluators understand what it is that you're trying to solve. Second thing is to provide the solution or your offering, whatever that is, that addresses that problem statement. Now, with that solution, what we ask you for is to provide the basis for your solution. You say, I can solve this problem. Well, give us a scientific basis why you think you can solve that problem. What substantiates your claim that you can solve it. The third thing is to ensure that you tell the evaluators what is the value of what you're proposing to the DoD. Why is this important? Why are you coming up with the solution? And how is it going to make the life of the DoD or the soldiers that it supports better? And then the last item is what differentiates you. You may have multiple videos that come in from a variety of different sources that say, we can solve this problem. What makes you special? Why do you think that your solution is the best? If you cover those 4 sections, like I said, you've prepared your video, you've included those items I just mentioned in your video, and then I would check it against the rubric. We've given you the answers. We've given you the questions that the evaluators are going to be looking at. So I would do a self-assessment. I would look at your video. I would look at that rubric that the evaluators are going to be using, and you can do your own evaluation and say, yeah, I covered all the points. I think I satisfied what that rubric says. And if you do those things, your probability of success of being awardable is extremely high. So we do ask for a TRL level. The TRL level is not graded. We just want to know where you are in the maturity cycle of your technology. And this is for information for the government, potential government customers. If you're at a low TRL level, then the government understands that there may be more work that needs to be done in order to mature it. And you may want to include in your video, when you talk about TRL, what your maturation plan is. So the government understands what investment it has to make in your technology in order to get it to a level where it can use it. Again, it's an ungraded criteria within the evaluation, but it's information to a potential customer.
Jean, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish that.
No, I was going to say one other thing. If you are at a very high TRL level, many of the videos that we receive are things that are already fielded or in use by somebody else. If you are at a high TRL level, it might be to your benefit to show a little snippet of a demonstration of what that is. Show the reality of what you have already produced and may have already sold to someone else. So those are just a couple of points to help you, be successful as you go through the evaluation.
Gene, someone's asking if a video is rejected, how do we communicate to the solution provider that it was rejected, and do we tell them? Do we explain the reasons why?
Yes, the answer to both of those is yes. We're instituting in the April collection, later in the April collection will be a notification process. So when you submit your video, you'll get a notification that your video was received. In some cases, and I'm just giving you our experiences, some people are not adhering to the time limit. So, instead of the 5 minutes, they may put in a 10-minute video or 15-minute video. As soon as those receive, we'll give you notification and say, hey, by the way, you've exceeded the time limit. Suggest that you go back, adjust your video, and resubmit. If you submit early enough in a month, then you could resubmit that same month and just correct the video. And then, of course, we will evaluate it in the following month. When the video is in assessment, you will get a notification that says your video is being assessed. Okay, that assessment period is usually about 5 days, okay, where your video will be evaluated by that panel of judges that I spoke about, and they will come up with a determination whether it's awardable or not awardable, and will provide feedback to you. Now, you can get that feedback. When you get that feedback, if you are not awardable, they will tell you, the areas that you fell short, okay, on the rubric. You have the opportunity, and we encourage you to take that opportunity to read that feedback, understand what the evaluators have told you, and then correct your video and resubmit it. You can resubmit as many times as you want until you become awardable. Okay? And you have that opportunity, like I said, if it's at the beginning of the month, you can do it the same month. If you don't make it, within that month, you can submit it the following month. And you can do that subsequently for every additional month after that. And we're here to help you if there's some question about what was said or what your feedback said. There's a support at tradewind.com that you can send a note into and say, I don't understand why this comment was made. And we'll try to help you understand what that feedback says.
Yeah, let me just jump in here, Gene. So you said a couple of things I want to just touch on. That support email address is actually support@tradewindmarketplace.com, and we'll have that at the end of the slides here. We'll have that email address up for all of you to jot down, support@tradewindmarketplace.com. The second thing you touched on, which was really important, you said that we're going to be offering notifications. So just to give people a little bit of context, up until this point, we've been doing some of these processes manually. So the version of the marketplace that you see is currently our MVP, our minimum viable solution product. So it's sort of the first iteration out of the gate. But it's important to note that we are constantly iterating. We just had a long workshop internally where we talked through all the various pieces of the marketplace and how we can improve it. So we are constantly iterating, and we do have more features planned as we move forward. So the notifications that Gene's referring to is automated notifications, right? So we're instituting a process where as soon as you submit your video, you're going to get an automatic notification say, hey, thank you for submitting. As soon as you move into assessment, you get a notification about that. So as you move through the process, you will get automated notifications. And when it gets to the point where let's say you're deemed awardable, great, you get that email that you've been waiting for. Hey, you're awardable, congratulations. And if you don't, if you're deemed not awardable, you will get a notification explaining what exactly you might have not done 100% right. And of course, like Jean said, you are absolutely welcome to continue submitting until the sun goes down. Like, you can submit ad nauseum. Another thing I wanted to touch on. Okay, so we'll get a little bit more into the weeds about the actual acquisition contracting process. But for now, someone's asking, what day of the month is the cohort evaluated for the upcoming assessment? On what days of the month do the SME perform the assessments? And if you're selected in a given month, what day will the newly approved videos be posted live on the marketplace? So to Jean's point, the acceptance, you can submit videos any day of the month, right? Between the 1st and the 30th, you can submit your videos throughout the month. If you submit on December 31st, you are in December's cohort, and the assessments will begin early January. If you submit December 1st, you're still in that December assessment period, right? Jean, do you want to talk more about how we time that? I mean, that's really the key takeaway is that you can submit at any point in the month that you submit, you are in that month's assessment, and that month's assessment begins the beginning of the next month. Hopefully that makes sense. Is there anything more you want to add to that, Jean?
Yeah, I just want to mention, as you said, the 1st to the 30th or 1st to the 31st of the month is the cohort for that particular month. So, as you said, we just completed February's evaluations, and they were collected February 1st through February 28th. We began, since the number was very large, we collected over 40 submissions, 40 videos in the month of February. That evaluation began about the 10th, 12th of March, and it ran to about the 17th of March. Okay, the final assessments and the identification of those awardable and not awardable were made a couple of days after that. Each of the vendors was notified whether they were awardable or not, and they were provided with 2 notifications. One notification is on your video. The video that you submit will have comments. It'll have whether you're awardable, not awardable, under assessment, whatever the case, will tell you that. And secondly, there will be comments. So the comments that are provided as of today will be your feedback from that evaluation that happened. So you'll be able to read that. In addition, we're using a platform called Valid Eval, which is our evaluation platform. At the conclusion of the evaluation period, Valid Eval will send you a notification of awardability or not awardability. And with that, you will receive the feedback, and you will receive a heat map, which will show you, where you stood in relationship to the rubric. How the evaluators evaluated you, and will also provide you information in that complete cohort, of all the evaluations that were done. It'll show you what quantile you fell into, with the evaluation. So if your score was very, very low, you may be in the 4th quantile. You scored very high, you will be in the 1st. So you'll be given a bunch of information about, where you stood in relationship to all the others that were evaluated, although you are not evaluated against anybody else except for that rubric.
Okay, we have a couple more questions, and then I think we can move on. Someone's asking, are there any current metrics on submission views by potential customers? So that is actually one of the features that we're implementing in our future iterations. That's like one of the features that we know we want to be able to track. But currently we don't have that capability, but we are building that in. And then the other piece is, where is the rubric? Can't find it on the website. The rubric is not on the website. The rubric is actually in the announcement. The rubric is Appendix B in the announcement. So, and the announcement is both posted on the website as well as on sam.gov, and we'll navigate there and you'll be able to see that in real time. So without further ado, Gene, I think we'll drop down, and we have a couple other questions that get into the weeds about pricing and contracting authorities, but we'll get more into that as we
We'll
move.
get that later.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just a summary of what we're trying to do on the marketplace. And I think the important takeaways from this slide is that we're trying desperately to create an environment so that there's a very low barrier of entry for any vendor who wants to come onto the marketplace. We recognize the fact, especially of small businesses and startups and, very, non-traditional businesses, that they usually don't have the budget to do that business development, of a campaign to go out and market their items. So we're trying to do that for you. We're trying to do that through the marketplace, make the marketplace available to as many potential government customers as possible. Okay, and to showcase your technology to them so that they can, and I hate to use the analogy, but it would almost be like an Amazon type of a thing. They'd have a list of all of these offerings. They can select, and they can go into an acquisition process in order to buy from you. Again, they do not have to go through an additional competition because that competition is already satisfied by the marketplace.
One question we got was, are there any considerations being given to small or non-traditional companies? And I love that question because the entire purpose, almost the entire purpose of the marketplace is to give consideration to small and non-traditional companies. Isn't that right, Gene?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We're focusing on academics and small non-traditional contractors and individual. And I like to emphasize this, even individual researchers. There may be some guy who's working on his own, has a great idea, has no idea how to get it out, for somebody to see. We're accepting those, and we're trying to help you do that marketing for you, to be able to get it in front of the government, for potential purpose.
Yeah, we've lowered all the barriers. Like, you don't need a massive business development team. You don't need to get mired in thousands of pages of documents, responding to an RFP, waiting for a down select, waiting to hear back, trying to track someone down. No. If you have a solution, make a 5-minute video, drop it in, get yourself awardable, get into the marketplace and get in front of customers. It really, literally could not be simpler than that. I don't know that we could make it any easier. Moving on. So Gene, I think you've covered a lot of this already. Yeah.
Like I said, decide what it is that you want to submit, create that video, insert those things in it that I mentioned earlier, the 4 major points that we want to see in the video and is covered by the rubric. And then importantly, check yourself before you submit that video. Do your self-assessment. Look at your video, look at the rubric, ensure that it matches to the rubric, and then hit submit and send it in.
One other thing that we've seen, Gene, I think this is an important point because we've seen this a couple times. Some companies kind of try to take a shortcut, and they say, well, we have this marketing video about our company, let's submit that. That's not what we're looking for. That's not going to work, because if you just have a general video about your company and the various things that you do, that's great, but that's not going to get you awardable. We really are looking for the nitty-gritty about a specific solution that you have to answer a specific problem that the DoD has or that the government has, right?
By the way,
it has to be specific.
Thank you, Fiona. Fiona, that's another good point. Any company that wants to submit, you're not limited to 1 video per month. Okay, if you have multiple use cases or multiple technologies that you want to submit, there's no reason why you cannot make 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. and submit them in any given month. We ask that each of the technologies that you want to provide or offer to the marketplace be contained in one video. Okay, so they're separate. So we want to be able to evaluate those as individual solutions to a problem set. But if you have multiple problem sets that you want to address, then create another video, or a third or a fourth, whatever. And we have had situations where companies have submitted as many as 3 videos, in a given month, and covered 3 different areas. So
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you have 3 solutions, submit 3 videos. And the important part there is also, again, we're not looking for company marketing videos. We need a video about your specific solution.
that's correct.
Okay, moving on. So, I mean, I think we've covered this, right? All the benefits to innovators. We can probably make this list even longer. There's a lot of benefits, but yeah. Is there anything on here that you want to impress upon, Jean, that you haven't touched on?
No, but there's, I think the last item, when you submit and you're considered awardable, it doesn't mean you're restricted to one customer. So let's say 5 government agencies say, oh, I love this thing. I want it. I want to buy it. 5 different government agencies could buy that from you. So it's not a one-on-one purchase type thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right, which is a huge benefit to the old way of doing it, right? Because the old way of doing it, A, you're competing against however many other potential vendors, and B, once you sell it, it's a one and done thing. Here, you're competing against yourself, really, not competing against anyone. If you respond to the rubric and you have a good solution and you communicate the value proposition effectively, you're awardable. And then you're up in the marketplace and you can sell your product 100 different times. There's no end to how many times you can sell it to various agencies.
One thing I wanted to mention, and it has to do with process, just in case there are any questions on it. When a video is submitted, it goes into a cohort, for a particular month. The assessors will evaluate that and determine which ones are awardable and not awardable. We cover that. We receive feedback on whether they're awardable or not awardable. Those that are awardable will be transferred. Those videos will be transferred from the evaluation side of the website to a government-only side of the website. Okay, and that government side of the the government side website, okay, will be viewable by any government customer. Okay, right now we're concentrating on DoD, but that doesn't mean that other government agencies outside of the DoD cannot view those videos. Okay, so they can, like I said before, they can shop, they can explore, they can identify, those videos that are of interest to them and decide that they, it's something that they want to purchase. And those videos will remain in that government-only site, for the duration. They're going to be there.
Somebody is asking us to repeat the 4 major points because they joined late. The first point, do you want to cover those, Jean? I want to make sure.
Sure. Yeah. The first point is to identify the problem you're trying to solve. Be clear in what it is you're trying to solve, because that's going to set the basis for the evaluators as they go through the rubric. The second point is describe your solution to the problem that you already stated with enough scientific basis. And again, depending on the maturity, you may want to provide, a very short snippet of a demonstration that the product actually exists, if it's a, very mature product. And just give the rationale. Don't just make a claim that what I'm giving you solves the problem. Tell us why. If you're developing an algorithm, tell us about the algorithm. If you're coming up with a product, what does the product do? What's the basis for it? The third thing is, what's its value to the DoD? It's nice to have, some novel technology, but if it has no benefit to the DoD, then it's useless to the DoD. So tell the DoD why you think it's going to make their life better, or make their processes more efficient, or make the soldier more efficient. And then the last piece is differentiate yourself from any other potential solutions. You may be aware of other solutions that are addressing the same problem. What makes you unique? Why should the government pick you as opposed to someone else who may be proposing, a similar type of a solution? So those four things. And I did mention that we do ask for TRL level. If the TRL level is a low TRL level, may have a lot of value, but we want the government to understand that there's a maturity requirement that'll go along with that. We have to take it, let's say, from a TRL level 2, 3 to maybe a TRL level 9. You want to let the government know that you have a plan. You know how you're going to mature it, or at least have an idea of how you're going to get from that TRL level to a higher TRL level. TRL level is not scored in the rubric. It's informational to the government customer.
One more question. If someone's asking whether they're going to get the slides and the link to the recording after the event, absolutely. After the event, Marco will be sending out the slide deck as well as a link to the recorded event, so you can always reference back to it. If selected and placed into the marketplace, will we be provided a link to direct attention to that listing? Absolutely. You will. You'll get a link to your video, and you'll be able to socialize that to any potential government customer. And the other thing I'll say about the marketplace, we actually had a situation where we had a vendor who had a solution that a particular customer really wanted, but couldn't figure out how to buy. They were mired in the far long lead, oh, we can probably purchase it, but it won't be for another 1.5 to 2 years. And the vendor's sitting there like, oh my gosh, how long do I have to wait to, sell my product? So I just said to the guy, hey, why don't you just make a 5-minute video and get into the marketplace, get it a SaaS, get deemed awardable, get up in the marketplace. And then once you're in there, call your customer and say, hey, I'm in the marketplace, you can buy it now. So, yeah, I mean, the marketplace just opens up a lot of possibilities that really kind of turn the entire government acquisition paradigm right on its head. It enables you to do things, and it opens doors that you may not have even thought were possible. So, yeah, that's why we're so excited about it. Okay, we will move on. Okay, these are the technology focus areas. I'll let Jean speak about this, but in the announcement, you will see that the CDAO on behalf of the DoD has sort of designated these focus areas as areas that they know they want more solutions. They want to see what the private sector, what industry, what academia has in these particular areas. And I'll direct your attention to the last area, discovering blue sky technology applications. This is my favorite one because this is a catch-all. If it doesn't fit into any one of these categories up top, you could just throw it into the blue sky. And blue sky basically refers to anything that isn't in these other categories, but also if it's a solution to a problem that the DoD doesn't yet know it has, your solution answers a problem that the DoD isn't even tracking. It isn't even on the DoD's radar, but hey, this is going to be a problem and we already have a solution for it. That's a blue sky technology. And those are really the cutting edge things that, in addition to all the other things that we'd love to see, that's a really hot area for us. Jean, I'll let you speak a little bit more about this if you have anything.
Yeah, these are strategic focus areas. If when you look at these, they're pretty wide open. So there's a lot that can be put into each of these categories. I would suggest that if you're going to follow the marketplace, that you follow the marketplace and the announcement for the marketplace regularly, because these may change as specific customers come into the CDAO, into the DoD, and say, I have a specific requirement. So you may see some, and like last month, we had a specific one. It was a campaign or a challenge that was developed by one of the organizations within DoD that said, I'm looking specifically for a JFAX solution. Okay, so we added that to the list of focus areas, and we used the marketplace in order to determine those companies that had satisfactory or awardable solutions to that. So I would look at these regularly, at least month to month, to see if anything has changed. Okay, but right now this is open enough to I think, to satisfy most submissions.
Okay, so before we get into the demo, I think this now is a good time to start getting a little bit into more specifics about the pricing. Someone's asking when and where is pricing established? Is it on GSA, or is it posted on the Tradewind Marketplace, or is it negotiated upon selection for award?
Did I answer that?
Yeah, that's for you, Gene.
Okay, thank you. What we're trying to do is identify the technologies within the marketplace. Now, as you all are aware, there's probably not enough information in that 5-minute video in order for you to provide, a full description of, period of performance, pricing, IP, all of those other things that usually go into an other transaction agreement or into a contract. And by the way, the acquisition pathways for the marketplace include both of those. So it may be, if the acquisition authority decides that a FAR-based contract is the best way to do that, then they can use this for a FAR-based contract. If an other transaction authority is the preferred approach pathway, then it'll be an OTA. Okay. Different rules for each of those, but just there's flexibility for the acquisition community. It's important to note that this is your entree into your customer base. So a customer may look at your technology and say, oh yeah, this is something that I'm really, really interested in. I would expect that the next thing that happens is that customer will contact you directly, either through the acquisition authority or directly to you, and say, okay, here's my problem set, the government would say. Tell me a little bit, there may be a discussion, how are you going to meet that? Can you meet that within a period of time, like 6 months or a year or whatever the case may be? What kind of money are we talking about? Things of that nature. There's going to be some discussion, and the details of the actual contract will be worked out between the acquisition authority, the customer, and you as the provider. Okay, and then a formal document will be put together, which will be the summary or the definition of what the contract will actually be. And that's what you'll sign, and that's what makes the acquisition. So it doesn't necessarily end with the marketplace. The marketplace will do the competition, so you don't have to do the competition again, but it will not have all of the details that are necessary in order to execute a contract, but will put you way down the acquisition cycle.
Someone's asking, are contracting offices able to use SBIR funding for the marketplace solutions? If so, how does traditional SBIR process apply?
Well, we're not competing with the SBIR in any way. If you think about a phase 3 SBIR, there's kind of a there's kind of connection there. For a phase 3 SBIR, where an external customer is going to buy, the phase 3 SBIR actually supports what we're doing on the marketplace. So the marketplace can be used in order to execute that phase 3 SBIR.
Okay. Someone's asking, what is contracting's workload capacity for awarding at the order level? I'm not entirely sure what that question means, but I think it's going to depend. I think it's going to depend on whatever activity you're using to contract, right, Jane?
Yeah. It again, we've tried to make this not only as easy as possible, but as flexible as possible. If, for instance, let's just use some examples. You know, a Navy customer comes in, you know, from Dahlgren. I'll just use that as an example, and says, "Gee, I like this item." Well, the buying activity might decide, "Oh, gee, I want to go to my own contracting activity in Dahlgren." Again, we can't anticipate what the workload in Dahlgren is, but you know, Dahlgren acquisition may say, "Okay, yeah, sure, we can handle this because so much of it has been done already, and can execute that that award." There's also a possibility, and that would have to be discussed, you know, government to government, customer to the CDAO, but the CDAO itself has an acquisition authority with ACC Rock Island, Army Contracting Command at Rock Island, and the CDAO will be getting contract authority themselves. So if it cannot be done by the particular agency's contracting, it might be able to be done through the DoD, CDAO's contracting activity. So there's a few different ways of in the actual execution of the program. If it's something that relates directly to the CDAO's mission, that makes it real simple. CDAO will probably pick that up right away. If it's not, then there'll have to be some discussions among the contracting activities as to who's going to.
Someone's asking how many government users are signed up on the marketplace. Is it only the agencies that pay for the platform? So to my knowledge, there's no charge. We're not charging the government customers to use the marketplace.
That's correct.
Yeah.
There's any government activity has free access to the marketplace. And in fact, along with these webinars that we're doing for industry, like we are doing today, there's also a complimentary webinar that's being done for government agencies. So at least once a month, if I don't know, Fiona, maybe twice a month, you know, we're getting different groups of government people and explaining the same things we're explaining to you. So, and we're encouraging them to go in just as you went in and registered, and Fiona will show that to you later, registered for the marketplace. We're encouraging the government to do the same thing. There's 3 registration levels. There's a government registration, academic registration, and an industry registration. We're telling the government, we're asking the government to go in, register as the government, which gives them full access to all of the videos that are being that are considered awardable or deemed awardable, and they are on the marketplace. There's over, I think the last count, there was like 62 videos on the marketplace right now.
And so, and Stephanie is asking again, who are the users on the government side? I mean, it kind of spans the gamut. There's no easy, quick way to answer that question. I mean, there's a lot of DoD agencies. There are some non-DoD agencies on there. I mean, I don't, you know, I can't really tell you exactly, like, because it's a lot of agencies, right, Gina? I mean, we have everyone from, like, you know, SOCOM. I know the Army's on there. Navy agencies are on there. CDAO is certainly looking at the marketplace a lot. So yeah, there are a number. It spans the gamut.
Yeah, all the services at least have some representation on the marketplace. Unfortunately, we do not have the statistics, you know, for how many hits or how many times, you know, a particular government agency went on and looked at the marketplace. We know we have some power users. Okay, some of the power users are SOCOM. Of course, the CDAO is on there. And we do have, in fact, it's very interesting because we have other government agencies that have been getting on, like Veterans Affairs and a few of the other, you know, non-DoD activities have been getting on the marketplace.
Yeah, DISA I know is on there. So, so Jean, in terms of the specific government users, is it the acquisition people that are on there? I think that's also kind of a broad spectrum. It could be the acquisition people. With SOCOM, I know end users are actually going on there. Program
Yeah,
managers
mostly,
on
it's
there.
mostly end users. I think it's
Yeah.
people looking for a solution.
Okay. Is there a fee for vendors? No, there's no fee for vendors. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, so I think now's a good time. Okay, so you're an industry person, you're a solutions provider. What do you need to do? Like, just step one, what do you need to do? You need to go to tradewinai.com, and we're going to do this together. I'm going to share a screen in a moment here. You're going to sign up on the Tradewind Exchange. We'll show you how to do that. You're going to navigate to the Tradewind Solutions Marketplace. You're going to submit your video, and you're going to stand by for feedback. That is basically your 5 steps, and we'll get to the marketplace momentarily here. I will share a screen. I love technology. Where's my screen? Okay, there we are. And we'll share. So most of you have probably already been on tradewinai.com. It's loading now. You should see it now. So hopefully none of this is new to all of you. Oh, and just a quick note, we are revamping our site. That's also in progress on the back end. We are completely doing a redesign and a revamp of the site to make it all the more user-friendly and all the more intuitive. So if you navigate to Solutions Marketplace, one important note here, clicking on here doesn't take you directly into the marketplace. It gives you information about the marketplace. In order to access the marketplace proper, you have to go to either join us or log in. That will take you into the Tradewind Exchange. If you guys don't have an account at the Tradewind Exchange, you should. That is sort of our portal, and a lot of the tools and services under the Tradewind umbrella physically live in the Tradewind Exchange. So I already have an account, so I'm just going to go to log in. If you don't, you would go to join us. It's a really quick registration process. And then once you're in, you will be able to navigate to the Solutions Marketplace, and I'll show you that. Are you all seeing this? Jean, you saying this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the Tradewind Exchange, and this is where a lot of open challenges are posted, right? So not just about the marketplace, but about other various challenges, more opportunities for you. And then you'll go to your right-hand side up here, Solutions Marketplace. You're going to hit access. Okay, so I have some missing information on my accounts. I will say I am a US citizen, okay. And I can now access. And let's get started. There you are, my videos, upload video. It's literally that simple. That was just a couple of clicks, right? I went into tradewinai.com, and you can actually, you don't even have to go to the Marketplace Solutions Marketplace webpage. That's just if you want more information. But once you're on tradewinai.com, you go to join us or log in, either one. You get into the exchange and you get into the marketplace. Boom, boom, boom. You upload your video. And like we mentioned, we are implementing automated notifications. So once you upload your video, you'll get an email. Congratulations, you just submitted a video. Doesn't mean you're assessed. It doesn't mean you're awarded. Doesn't mean you're in there. It just means you submitted it successfully. Wonderful. And you will get notifications as we move through the process. Okay. Oh, one thing I did want to point out, I want to make sure I show you guys this. For those of you who are looking for the announcement, there are a couple of different ways you can get the announcement. And keep in mind, the rubric, which is your bread and butter, like the rubric is your Bible for these purposes. That is where we basically give you the answers to the test. The rubric is your absolute go-to when you're making your video. The rubric itself, it's not a standalone document. It is part of the announcement. The announcement can be found in a couple of different places. Once you're on tradewinai.com, you go to Solutions Marketplace, you scroll down. There's some helpful videos here, which you definitely want to watch. We went through a lot of effort to make these videos. You want to watch all of these helpful videos. And here you go, Tradewind Marketplace announcement. You could download it. It literally will download from right here, or you can read the announcement on sam.gov. right? You just click there, it'll take you to sam.gov and you can read the announcement there. Or alternatively, once you're in the exchange itself, I think I just lost my place in the exchange. Once you're in the exchange itself, you can get the announcement there. It's one of the challenges. Let me navigate back to, yeah, there it is. It's right there. It's a challenge right there. So there's a couple of different places where you can find the announcement. The rubric is in the announcement. And again, the rubric is a very, very important document as you put your video together. Any questions here? Jean, is there anything you want to add here?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
You may want to open the announcement and go to the rubric.
Oh, okay. That's a good call. Okay. I already have it on my desktop. I'll just download it here. Oh, okay, great. Are you seeing this, Jean?
Yep.
Okay, so important note, we actually updated the announcement. This one is effective February 1st. Make sure you're working off of this one. It's updated on all our platforms, but in case you might have, you might be storing an older version prior to February 1st, you want to make sure that you kind of, discard that older version and work off of the current one.
It's important. This is an important document to read because not only does it provide you with the basis or the description of what the marketplace is, it gives some helpful hints as to how best to put your video together, and taking advantage of those increases the probability of success within the marketplace. So go up a little bit, Fiona.
Oh, more up.
Yeah, right there. There are some things that are required when you put your video together. The 4 items that I mentioned are listed there. Solution, stop there. Solution video must at a minimum include the following content: identification of the problem, description of solution, application to the problem, potential impact, and then what differentiates. So it's listed right there.
Yeah.
The other thing is that right there, go to the red. Okay, as a video, when a video is submitted, videos are reviewed for compliance the day that they're submitted or the next day. Okay, so within 24 hours, they're reviewed. One of the common issues that we've had is somebody says, "Oh, it's only suggested to be 5 minutes." Okay, so somebody will come in with 7 minutes, with 9 minutes. I will tell you that immediately that video is flagged as non-compliant and will not be evaluated. Okay.
Yeah,
And
just a quick note.
it's just a shame.
Yeah, we're assessing for compliance within a day or two, not the actual solution. When Gene says compliance, he means does it stay within
Right.
the 5 minutes? And that's
Right.
a really quick way to get eliminated. And it's a little bit sad, honestly, that a lot of great solutions are getting, discarded for that reason. And you would actually also be surprised at how many people don't read the announcement. To me, that's kind of shocking. Like, please make sure you're reading the announcement. Like, I understand it's a lot of pages, but it's worth reading because we tell you what to do. I mean, we can't make it any simpler. So this is
the Appendix A. If you're not familiar with the TRL levels, we did list the TRL levels, so you can determine where you fit.
Yeah, and here's the rubric. Yeah,
and that's the rubric.
Yeah. So I know we're right up at 11. I'll just go back to the rest of our slides. We don't have that many more slides, honestly. It's really just more helpful tips for you guys. Are there any last questions? Oh, someone asked how many videos have been actually awarded. So it's important to note that the Solutions Marketplace started on November 1st, right? We kicked off November 1st. So between November 1st, we've been open for business, less than 5 months, and we already have 1 awarded. But within that time, we had to not just build the infrastructure and get the word out and get the videos in and create the framework for the assessments and get the word out to government. So a lot happened in that 5 months, and we already have 1 awarded. So I think that's a big win. Keep in mind that, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the one that was awarded, was awarded within, I would say, about 45 days of submission. I don't
Right.
remember exactly which month. I think they were, it was submitted in December, I believe, and it was awarded in the beginning of February.
Yeah. And the key value of the marketplace is creating that platform that people can actually be viewed and be in front of government. It's not so much that, hey, yes, it's a much quicker process, particularly because we lowered so many of the barriers on the front end. But ultimately, the time to award isn't our key metric necessarily, and because a lot of that is going to depend on the actual contracting authority that you're using to contract. And some people don't know enough about the marketplace to know how to do it as quickly as they possibly could. But that's part of the education process and culture change that we're working towards moving the needle on. So top 5 ways to get your video submitted. Do your homework. Again, we keep hitting this point, but make sure you're reading the announcement and follow the rubric. That's a big one. We have a lot of helpful resources, the how-to videos, we have FAQs, and again, follow us on LinkedIn as well as Facebook and Instagram. And not just watch the videos, but follow the videos, the guidance in the videos. And again, support at tradewindmarketplace.com. We are always here to answer any questions. Someone's asking, can we go out and market to government and point potential customers to Tradewind? Yes, to the Tradewind Solutions Marketplace, you absolutely can. I would point your customer to the exchange and then from there they can get into the marketplace. And again, once you get your video into the marketplace and you're deemed awardable, you'll get a link. So you could just, send that link off to whatever potential customers you have. And again, if you have a customer that is interested in your solution, but they can't find a quick pathway to get actually purchase your solution, make a video, get into the marketplace, and then say, hey, customer, you can go buy my solution now. We've had a lot of great questions. I think we had a lot of good discussion. I think we got a lot of questions answered, a lot of good points we hit. Is there anything you want to close with, Gene?
No, I think we've said it all.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for your time. Marco will be sending out the slides as well as a link to the recording. Thank you again for being here, for taking time out of your day to learn about our marketplace. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We always put out a lot of good information. We'll be doing these again. This is a non-stop thing. We'll be doing these continuously. So if you feel like you want to jump on again, feel free to join us. We're always here. And let us know if you have any questions or need any help. We'll see you in the marketplace.
The only other last thing, sorry about that, is if anybody has any comments, suggestions that they'd like to offer about how the marketplace is laid out, running, we're open for any suggestions or recommendations you'd like to make. So please do. Yeah,
we're here. We take feedback. So we're all ears. Thank you again so much for being here with us, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.